With the Maliwan Takedown just around the corner, wanna obliterate every mob that comes your way and melt every single boss? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my Terminator flak build. This is LaserBolt and welcome to today's video, guys. Today I want to share with you guys the most powerful flak build you will ever find in the whole entire internet. Yes, guys, you guys heard it correctly. This is a max damage crit build. This build does more damage than your fadeaway crit build combined. Yes, guys, you will be doing a lot of damage, and we're not even going to be using fadeaway. That's how powerful this build is. Now, before we get started with the build, I do want to remind you guys about our giveaway. We're giving away one free copy of Borderlands 3 for the system of your choice. If you already have Borderlands 3, don't worry, because your friend might need Borderlands 3. So win the game for them, because winning is super easy. All you have to do is drop a like, share this video with your friends, and drop a comment on why you want to win Borderlands 3. So good luck to everyone that plans on participating. Alright, so now it's time for us to take a look at the build, guys. We're going to be spending a couple of points in Stalker, and we're also going to be spending a couple points into the Hunter skill tree. So let's get started, of course, with the Stalker skill tree. So we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into self-repairing system. This is really good because it's going to give us that nice survivability. It's just going to maximize our health, and it's going to be playing a pivotal part because, you know, we want to make sure we're tanky as well with this build. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into ferocious attack as well. What this is going to do is it's going to increase our gun damage and our handling whenever we stack the ferocious attack. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 3 points into all my BFFs. This is going to be very important because it's going to tie in perfectly with our next perk. Basically, what this is going to do is just going to give us a little bit more health regen for our pets. The other perk that we're doing is Lick My Wounds, and the reason why it's going to work so perfectly with all my BFFs is because you're going to have your pet alive the majority of the time. It's going to be very rare when he goes down, so it's always good to know that you have that second option. If you go down, someone's going to be there to revive you. Next up, guys, we have 3 points into Turn, Tail, and Run. This is going to go ahead and allow Flag to constantly regenerate health and gain damage reduction. Now, we are going to be playing the Maliwan Takedown, and I believe if anything's like the Shatterstar 3000, then we are going to be getting a lot of corrosive damage on the floor, radiation damage, incendiary damage. So it's very important for us to have that damage reduction. And last but not least, guys, we're going to be dumping a total of 3 points into the Fast and the Ferocious. This is going to increase our gun damage and also our movement speed. Now it's time for us to move over to the Hunter tree. Now for the Hunter tree, guys, of course, we're going to be taking a lot of the stuff from the Hunter tree to give us maximum crit damage and making this build very powerful. So we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker. This is just going to convert every single enemy into a robot, human, and of course a beast. Now we're also going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Secondary Intention, and second intention. And what this is going to do, it's going to increase our reload speed every single time we hit a crit shot, and we are going to be doing a lot of crit damage. Basically, we're going to be hip firing, but we're going to be doing a ton of crit damage. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Hunter's Eye. What this is going to do, it's going to increase our armor damage and damage reduction and crit hit damage on the different types of enemies. Remember, we already converted them into humans, robots, and beasts. This is just going to give us a bigger edge on those enemies because it's going to give us more power to shoot them. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 3 points into Head Count. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow us to reduce our action skill cooldown every single time we land a crit hit shot. And like I said, we are going to be dumping a ton of them. So next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 3 points into Big Game. And what this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to earn the Hunter skill, which are going to become a little bit more efficient and have a longer duration. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 3 points into the Most Dangerous Game. And this is going to increase our gun damage and our critical hit damage as well, because this is going to allow us to get those whenever we kill a badass or a stronger enemy. And since we are going to be doing a lot of killing of badasses in the Maliwan Takedown, this is going to be proccing very often. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 1 point into Galactic Shadow, once again increasing our critical hit damage. And we're going to be dumping 2 points into Grim Harvest. This is going to increase our gun damage and our action skill damage. And last but not least, guys, we're going to be landing one more point into Megavore. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow us to convert our gun into a crit hit damage gun, because even though we're not hitting the crit spot, it gives us a 20% chance of converting any part of the body of the enemy into a crit hit. Alright, so we're going to be picking up our skills here. So for our skills, we're going to be picking up the rack attack. And then we're also going to be picking up the flock and load. We're going to equip that as well. And we're going to be picking the rack accelerator. This is going to give us additional racks and reduce the cooldown time. And of course, for our pet, guys, you have two options. You could either go with the beefcake or you could go with the gunslinger. I like the gunslinger, but the beefcake works very, very well as well. So I'm going to leave that out to you guys. Pick one or the other one. The only reason I kind of go with the gunslinger a little bit because I get that +5 crit hit damage. It's not a lot, but it's something. Alright, so now that we got the skill tree out of the way, now it's time for us to take a look at the gear. Now, for my gear, guys, we're going to be using my favorite one, which is the Maggie. Now, if you guys saw the intro of the video, you guys saw that I took out the boss with the Maggie without a problem. And this Maggie is extremely powerful. If you also have a chance to check out my Sane Maliwan build, that one's really awesome as well. And I use the same weapon, so it's really potent and extremely powerful. So the cool thing about the Maggie, as you guys already know, the Maggie is pretty OP, but it comes with the Anointment While Terrified, deal 50% bonus cryo damage, which makes it extremely powerful. Now, the next weapons I'm going to mention, which are these three, are not requirements. The only thing that's a requirement here is just make sure they're Jacob weapons and they have really good anointment. So I'm running this one, which is the Deadeye. And for those of you who might have not even tried this weapon or you've never given it a try, this weapon hits like a truck. It is extremely powerful, and with our build, it ties in perfectly because enemies damaged by the rack attack take 100% increased damage for a short period of time. It's going to be very important that you know when to use this weapon, and I'll explain how you want to play with this build after we get done with the gear. Next up, guys, we have the One Pump Chump, which is another really powerful weapon. And once again, I have a very good anointment for this one. When enemies damaged by the rack attack take 100 increased damage for a short period of time. Very similar to the other one that I have, which takes advantage of the rack attack build. And last but not least, guys, I'm running this one. This is not a requirement. You could run anything. The other weapon I'm probably going to be including in here is this one right here. And this is going to be taking kind of into account the terror effect. And I haven't really tested out this weapon, so it's kind of like a toss-up. You guys could go with whichever one you want. As long as it's a Jacob's weapon, I would recommend it. But if you don't have one, you could go with anything that helps you boost your terror. Now it's time for us to take a look at the actual gear itself. So for our shield, we're running the backham. Now the cool thing about the backham is just going to be pretty much like having a bulletproof vest, because what it's going to allow you to do, it's going to reduce the damage you take from enemies shooting you from the back. But what makes this even better is that you have a 40% chance to reflect the projectiles with the shield. So it's really important. Basically, if an enemy shoots you, you have a chance to reflect that damage back to the enemy, giving you a ton of survivability. Now, one of the main reasons we're also running this is because of the terror effect. It says while terror gain increased crit damage, and more terror you have, the higher the bonus, which makes it extremely powerful. For our class mod, which I think it's almost like a godly mod, we have the Cosmic Stalker. This is going to like Flag 2 uses Hunter skill power increased by 25%, but the flavor text is what makes this godly. Plus 25 weapon damage, plus 50 Jacob weapon accuracy, and plus 45 weapon damage crit hit damage. So that's going to put us at 70% weapon damage if we're using a Jacob's weapon. Extremely, extremely powerful. And with that addition of the plus 50 Jacob weapon accuracy, we're just going to be on point with our shots. As you guys see in the gameplay, I'm just pretty much hip fire my way through it and just landing crit hit shots left and right. Now for our artifact, we're running the Auto Idol, and once again, this is just increases damage against frozen targets. Since we are going to be freezing a lot of targets, it's going to be extremely powerful. Plus, we have the plus 27 cryo efficiency and the plus 26% weapon accuracy, even making us even better, and plus giving us even more magazine size for our weapon. And to tie all of this together, guys, we're running the recurring hex, and this is where we're going to be able to apply that terror effect. So even though we don't have terror or the mask or the whatever skulls running around, we're still going to be able to apply that terror effect by using our action skill, and those are going to last 18 seconds. So now that we have all the build together, we know the gear we have, how exactly should you play with this build? Well, the way you want to play with this build is the following way. You want to throw the recurring hex first, and that's going to allow you to freeze enemies. And after you throw the recurring hex, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure you send out the rack attack so that you could apply the terror effect to you guys, which is going to entail make your Maggie extremely powerful because it's going to give you that extra cryo damage. In addition to that, it's going to allow you to use the other weapons. So for example, if you throw your rack attack and you see it hits like a really tough enemy, like a badass, you could use any of the weapons that boost the damage by 100% when the rack attack hits, and then switch back over to your Maggie, making this build extremely important. And as you guys see, it doesn't matter if it's a boss, it doesn't matter if it's mobs, you're going to be able to kill them extremely fast, whether it be red bars, blue bars, yellow bars, it doesn't matter what comes your way. You're just going to be laughing your way to victory. And I believe by far this is the best Maliwan build for Flak. If for some reason after Maliwan comes out anything changes, I will definitely make an update video, but I think this video is as solid as can be, and you should be 100% prepared for Maliwan Takedown. Now, if for some reason you do not run a Flak, you do not run Sane, I will be having videos for Amara and also for Mo's very powerful builds as well. So make sure you guys keep it locked on this channel, and I will catch you guys on the next video.